When I tweeted out that I was going to have a conversation with you, and I asked people who follow me on Twitter what they most want to know about this merger, they talked about airfares. And while the history of airline mergers in the U.S. has shown that in the last 30 or 35 years, domestic airfares are actually lower than they were back then, there seems to be this popular myth that when airlines merge, fares go up. Talk to me a little about what you foresee as a result of this merger.
Yeah, well, we think as a result of this merger, we're going to take two airlines that are highly complementary, put them together, so still fly the same number of airplanes to the same number of places, which is actually good for the consumers of both airlines. There won't be a reduction in supply, so therefore, no reason to believe that there would be an increase in pricing. Furthermore, it creates a third competitor to two other larger airlines that we will now surpass. So I think the reality is this will create a third competitor that increases competition as opposed to reducing competition.
According to some analysis, Doug, from J.P. Morgan Chase, you've got about 13 routes that are served nonstop by both American and U.S. Air, and in 8 of those routes, you'll end up with just one of the airlines now serving that route. Do people on those 8 routes have something to be concerned about in terms of fares skyrocketing?
No. Well, they don't. Because indeed, again, we need to price the product to meet demand for the service, and the bigger point of that is on those eight routes comprise 8 out of over 900 routes between the two airlines. So this is clearly good in general for consumers, and on those routes in particular, I'm certain that they'll see very similar pricing to what it was when it was just the two of us.
Tom, let me ask you about this. You had hoped that American would emerge from bankruptcy independently. You had not been a big supporter of this idea, and now you've announced this merger. Tell me how you feel about this.
Well, all along we have been about creating the most value for our owners and the best outcome for our people and our customers, and that's what this has been about. Early on in the restructuring, I was not a fan of discussing mergers when we had yet to restructure our costs and our balance sheet and our fleet and all the things that we had to go do. But we've now done those things, and the new American is poised to be very successful and profitable. And this is the point at which it made sense for us to go make a deal on terms that made sense for our owners. And in fact, that's what we've done. The American owners will own 72% of the combined company. That wouldn't have happened early in the process.